You are listening live to the Vito and Vito Show.
Disrespectful to the executive branch.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
Don't sign the damn deal, and the president will...
Therefore, I do not believe that the majority can vote a man's life or property or freedom away from him.
And we're live here in the Vito and Vito Show. I'm Vito.
And I'm Vito.
We want to welcome everybody here to the Vito and Vito Show. Check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com. Give us a follow, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Vito and Vito Show. And let my co-host explain just what you're listening to right here on the airwaves on your radio or your terrestrial radio station. Soon to be satellite. I just made that up. Go ahead, Vito. What are you listening to?
We are two college-age millennial conservative libertarians out of liberal hellhole Brooklyn, New York, where we are defending the principles of liberty, freedom, free markets, and conservatism.
Yes, and libertarianism, of course. We have these debates all the time on the show. Conservatism versus libertarianism.
And liberalism.
And well, we always bash liberalism.
And communism.
Communism, liberalism, they're all the same, right?
Trumpism.
Trumpism. Let's talk about that thanite, baby, because we are wrapping up the seventh. Is it the seventh GOP presidential debate?
Seventh heaven.
Seventh heaven. Great. If he don't want my water bottle, he's not going to get it because he's too poor to afford his own water. So like a socialist, you know.
My water.
Here we go.
Okay. I'm going to have to attack soon.
You going to tax me? No taxation without representation, Vito. You said attack? Pay attention. Oh my God, Vito is it's been a long night, hasn't it?
Yeah, you're falling asleep over there.
Yeah, I'm so out of it.
You know why?
So
I think because Donald Trump was in the debate.
You know what? Thank you.
He needs somebody to yell at him.
I am not the biggest Trump fan. I want Cruz for 2016. But holy, you know what? Donald Trump not being in the debate tonight was so boring. You know, I think it's because you're so used to having the Donald there, and you're just waiting for him to say something. And I don't know, I'm so into Jerry Springer and Maury Povich that I want to see somebody fight with somebody, and I like the scuffle, and I like how the Donald has a scuffle with people. But not having them there at the debate tonight, ladies and gentlemen, just goes to show you just how boring this debate could be. I really am. I was so tired. Don't get me wrong, Cruz did okay. I don't think it was his best performance. And I thought Rand Paul probably did one of the better performances of the night. But it's still, if this is the 2016 election cycle, if this was the without Trump field, it'd be pretty boring. Sorry. I mean, you got to give Trump credit. He energizes the base in a way that no other candidate is able to do.
He stands and yells.
Yeah, but you know what? That's appealing. That is appealing. It gets people into politics. It gets your first-time voters into politics. And it gets me to watch the debate.
Oh, this is fun. This reminds me of wrestling. What? It's not a soap opera. It's politics.
Oh, shut up. If I wanted to watch some, policy discussions, I'll put on C-SPAN. I'll listen to these guys talk and mope over a thing all day. I want to see rumbles. I want to see somebody punch Megyn Kelly in the throat. I want to see a fight go down. And Donald Trump was the guy to do it. He wasn't there tonight. I thought it would hurt him big time. But after seeing just how bad and boring this debate was, Donald Trump, I think, is the winner of the night, even though he wasn't even there. What a businessman. What a calculated political move from a guy that's never stepped foot in political office.
Well, I've been saying this all week since he announced he was not going to go to the debate because he polled his Twitter followers, and some people wanted him there, but he said he's not because Megyn Kelly scares him. So I said this is actually going to help him because the last debate, a few days, right, 92 hours before the Iowa caucus, what people are going to remember is this debate. But they're going to remember what Trump has been saying the last couple of weeks and the other debates, and that Trump was at a veterans rally. So I think it's really going to hurt him. It's going to help him with Iowa, I think.
Well, the kicker here is that Donald Trump, and I want to get into the Megyn Kelly thing, too, in just a second, but...
Because she's bleeding out of her, whatever.
I want to get to Megyn Kelly in just a second. But more importantly, what I want to talk about is what Trump did for the veterans. Because Donald Trump is going to sit there And instead of saying, I'm not going to show up at the debate, not going to do anything, I'm just going to, stand outside wherever the debate hall is with a big sign that says Megyn Kelly sucks. No, he's not going to do that.
He'll, tweet photos of her and call her a bimbo.
Yeah, but you know what? He's not going to go ahead and just only do that. The fact is, he makes veteran issues a very important part of his campaign, and he's running with it.
But there's a problem.
But he's also seriously doing something about veterans issues, and that's what he did tonight, was raise a lot of money for vets.
Right, but a lot of veterans affairs places, organizations, are coming out saying they don't want them being used as a political pawn and being used for political games with Donald Trump and these other politicians. You know?
Well, you see,
So that was coming up.
Yeah, but I get where they were going with that, but is that the be-all, end-all? I mean, a couple of groups are going to feel short-sighted, whatever. I mean, Trump has been talking about this stuff for a long time.
What's a long time?
What?
What's a long time?
His whole campaign, he's been talking about veterans issues.
Oh, a couple months.
Well, he's still talking about them. Veterans issues was a big part of Trump's campaign. A lot of people flock to Trump because they say that the country is not taking care of the veterans the right way. So as a result, Trump is pulling in an atmosphere and an energy that no other candidate's able to drive because they just don't have the personality. I just couldn't believe how boring it was up there tonight. I mean, honestly, do you, if you're listening to the program, do you feel the exact same way that it was just a boring debate? No Trump equals boring presidential debate. I have more fun watching Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton tell everybody what they're going to give away for free.
Well, because you just get angry.
Yeah, but you get energized. Like,
you get angry and you start punching the wall.
I can watch the Democratic town halls, the debates, and I can sort of see why Bernie gives that Bernie flame. Why all these young kids are stupid enough to sit in line and wait to see Bernie Sanders. Why people line up around the block and go out canvassing and petitioning to go get Bernie Sanders on the ballot. Why particularly young people, college students, why they love Bernie. It's because I see this guy's charisma. I see how he says, we're going to make his message is just so hippie-ish and so wonderful and kumbaya. Of course, it's all wrong and full of economic fallacies that you wouldn't believe from here, to eternity. But you go on to just explain and listen to what this guy has to say about stuff. And you can see just why his message is radiating so well. He's got a great way in how he delivers his message. Donald Trump also has a great way in which he delivers his message. I think Ted Cruz also has a great way in delivering his message. But I think Ted Cruz, tonight in particular, we're going to get into that in just a second. Or later on in the show, actually. Ted Cruz, I didn't think this was his strongest debate. I thought this was weak. And it goes to show you just what happens when the Donald isn't on the stage. Can Ted Cruz really carry the pack? I don't know. I honestly, Vito, I didn't see it. I just did not see it. If I had to describe the mood of tonight's debate in one word, it'd be Dr. Ben Carson. Because Ben Carson is just monotone, low energy. He's a nice guy. He seems like he knows what he's talking about in a couple of things, but he's just low energy, no charisma a lot out of Ben.
I wouldn't say the debate was low energy. It wasn't the same without Trump, and that put some people to bed, like you over here. I don't think Ted Cruz did that bad. He had, a little bit in the beginning with the moderators. Yeah. He had a joke that went flat. I don't think that really helped him.
The thing was, I don't think it was a joke.
I think it was.
I don't know. We'll talk about that later on in the program, but more particular about Donald Trump, Vito. I mean, you don't think that the debate sort of lost a little bit of something tonight? That pizzazz?
A little bit, I said.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say it went down to Ben Carson level of...
No offense to Ben, by the way.
This is terrible. You brought this up. But no, I think Cruz did pretty well. He definitely had the opportunity to do much better than he did. But who did really well was Marco Rubio. I think he's the one that took the show. And everybody else just did their usual thing. And they tried going after Cruz, and he held, he made his points. And I think Cruz stood there and did well when he was attacked and all this. But he kind of slipped up a little bit. But he definitely could have done much better. You're just not used to Trump not being there, yelling at everyone, saying all this crazy stuff, and him, Jeb, why don't you just go sit in the stands? Oh my God!
First of all, Donald Trump saying it like it is what makes these debates interesting. Are they interesting without Trump? Maybe it's because, and I think maybe this is the RNC's fault. We keep seeing the same old crap over and over again. Every month, the same type of questions about the economy, foreign policy, the NSA. Like, they're not changing. It's not changing. It's just slow down, same old rehashing of the questions, and you got to ask yourself: Is it really necessary to have these many debates every month?
And they cut down debates from last time.
The RNC got that. Yeah, the RNC got down to some of the debates, and it still seems like a lot, in my opinion.
What would be more interesting?
We had the debates on a Sunday or a Saturday or a Jewish holiday or...
Saturdays at 3 a.m. So you come home drunk and turn that on. That would be entertaining.
Well, like the Democrats do it. But...
Yeah, they exactly. No. For Ted Cruz challenged Donald Trump to a debate. One-on-one.
I would love to watch that.
I would definitely watch that. Not just because Trump's going to be there. But I think that's more of a debate instead of having 6-7 guys on this table and saying, well, what do you think of Trump? What do you think of Trump? What do you think of Trump? Oh, my God, Hillary and Obama suck. No, a debate between 2 or 3 people, and you get more out of it and more detail and let them go instead of just like a forum asking them questions. But the problem is that the RNC, as conservative as they are, do not, that's sarcasm, do not allow for other debates because it's not a sanctioned debate. So if Trump and Cruz would debate on Saturday or anytime before the Iowa caucus, they would disqualify themselves from future RNC debates, which is about another 5 or 6 debates to go. Which I don't think is fair.
No, of course not. I mean,
and of course, Carly Fiorina jumped in and was like, I'll donate money if he debates me. He's like, well, he's not going to debate you. You still want to donate anyway?
Where was she tonight? Was she even on any stage?
I think she was on the kiddie table.
Once you get to the kiddie table, you honestly should just drop out of the race. Honestly.
Well, Rand got down there, but he came back up. Christie went down and came back up.
Yeah, but I mean,
they're playing elevator.
Okay, Christie, and take it from a guy that likes Rand Paul. I do. These guys have no momentum.
Yeah, but they serve a purpose.
What is their purpose? They're splitting the vote.
No, they'll drop out soon. But Rand Paul has done this last debate. He took shots from Marco Rubio that's supposed to go to Cruz. And Jeb Bush, for example, who has no shot either, is going after Marco Rubio, which is helping Ted Cruz. So if you support Ted Cruz, you can see where Rand Paul is helping and Jeb Bush on the side is helping. Great. So they're going after these guys.
But he's going to drop out, or these guys are going to drop out, and then Cruz is going to be left alone. And tonight he had some criticism. And I think he was able to deflect. I mean, they tried to get him with an immigration question.
I think he handled that perfectly.
And I think he handled it pretty well. If you go back to some previous episodes of the program, we break down Amanda Carpenter's defense of Ted Cruz. She was the staffer, I think, that worked with Ted Cruz in the Texas office. She wrote a whole thing in Conservative Review. She writes for them right now, actually. And she wrote a whole article explaining why Cruz's supposed amendments for the Gang of 8 bill, where he takes out citizenship and he includes legalization, and he tries to include it as a poison pill. It was pretty good, and his defense is really, he's a smart and cunning guy when it comes down to these political tactics. But Vito, I just want to go back to Trump for a quick second, because without Trump being in the room, the energy is low. There's no pizzazz, and it ultimately helps your establishment candidate. When Trump's in the room, the energy it's like a disease. But a good disease. I mean, it's contagious, if you will. So Donald Trump's in the room, and all of a sudden, everyone's on edge. People are listening to Trump and maybe one other person. Once you take Trump out of the equation, everybody wants to be heard, and it's all pretty much fair game for everyone to be heard. Cruz loses his footing, and I think Cruz is going to get hurt as a result of this debate. I think he's going to get hurt in Iowa, and I think it's probably going to damage the guy's run for the presidency, which sucks because I love Ted Cruz. He's my pick for 2016. I hope he does much better than what I'm saying. I hope I'm wrong. But Donald Trump not being there, I see where the people who like Trump are saying. Trump brings something to the table that no politician can bring. He's completely different. Completely different. So put him on the main stage. I hope that he comes back and not, granted, I think he has some little crazy requests when it came down to Megyn Kelly. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. But like I said, I think
that's ridiculous.
When you look at Donald Trump, I think the man, his presence alone is underestimated in these debates.
Well, he knows this, and this is what you saw. But does that mean that people aren't going to watch the debates? These primary voters?
Time will tell. I want to see now Donald Trump smart enough to hold a veterans rally. He has the Trump rally about Veterans Affairs at the same time, at the same day of the GOP debate that he didn't go to. So I want to see and compare ratings. I just honestly wonder. Ratings are going to drop because Trump's not in there. His supporters are going to say, screw this.
Right, but it's more than ratings.
Oh, yeah,
why are you not going? Because of rating? Oh, screw you, Fox, will make your ratings drop. I think it's a little more than that. And Ted Cruz and the other guys running, other candidates, hit on this as well.
Yeah, but when you have people with ratings, ratings I think play an important role too when it comes down to presidential politics in these debates. When you have people watching your political event, when you have people watching the debate, they're watching and they're looking and they're learning and they're trying to decipher what candidates to vote for, or if they never voted before but they're going to tune in just to watch Donald Trump, they just sit there to watch Trump, and at the same time they can listen to a couple other candidates and hopefully hear things that they like.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Those first-time voters or those people who are only turning in to listen and watch Trump usually aren't primary voters.
But how do you know? How do you know? Trump, Obama, Ronald Reagan, a lot of these guys who won. Well, Trump hasn't run yet, but effectively, if you look at the support of Donald Trump, a lot of these people win because first-time voters get out, register to vote, and vote for that candidate. Donald Trump has the power, the capacity, the influence to do that. This man has the influence, the power to get first-time voters out to the polls. The question is, when Trump also steps on the stage, he could also have first-time voters originally there for Trump watch a Cruz, watch a Christie, watch somebody else.
Right, but are they primary voters? Obama brought out first-time voters for the general election. The thing is he going to do this for the primary?
Of course Obama brought out first-time voters for primary and in the primary season too. Of course he did. Voter turnout is incredibly important. Ron Paul is able to grab first-time millennial college students and take a win in Iowa.
And how'd that go?
And he won, or he did very well in Iowa. So in 2012, of course.
And then?
Well, I mean, Ron Paul's a very different candidate than, say, Donald Trump. I mean, he doesn't have the same nationwide appeal. But Donald Trump is able to look at this situation and pick up a lot more support, a lot more votes, because your first-time voters, there to watch Donald Trump because of the rating. That's where the whole ratings argument comes from. Donald Trump has a point. And plus, there's a whole money factor as well. CNN and Fox News, they want to make money because advertisers love, it's like the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, Donald Trump is taking presidential debates and has made it into the Super Bowl.
Right. But are these people that he's packing out these stadiums, thousands and thousands of people, are all these people primary voters?
They could be.
Sure they could be.
They could be. I would argue they are. It's too early to tell because there hasn't been a vote yet, but we're going to find out Monday. We're going to find out at the Iowa caucus if these people who say we love Trump, if the polls are right, if they're accurate. We're going to see if these people, the first-time voters, are out there voting for Trump. But I'm telling you right now, you walk down the block, you walk down the road, you walk down or swim down the river, wherever the hell you are in the country, and you look at somebody who has a Trump bumper sticker on the back of their pickup truck, of their car, a Trump lawn sign, and you ask them, hey, did you ever vote before? Is this your first time voting? They're going to vote. And I'm telling you now, it's something huge. The Vito and Vito Show, when we return, right after this, we're going to talk about Megyn Kelly. We're going to talk a little bit more about Donald Trump. We're going to talk about debate performances right here on the Vito and Vito Show.
Who might you save?
Your mother, your father, your husband, uncle, aunt, son.
Learn FAST, F-A-S-T, the sudden signs of a stroke, and you could save.
Your friend, teacher, boss.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. F-A-S-T. That's F, face drooping, A, arm weakness, S, speech difficulty, T, time to call 911. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in the recovery of
Your neighbor, the waiter, grandmother, grandfather.
So learn FAST, the sudden signs of a stroke, then pass it on, because you never know who might save you.
Your wife, your colleague.
Spot a
children.
stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org, brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Hey, Vito.
Hey, Vito.
There's a movement in healthcare today.
It's a movement of people that's ready to stand up and take charge of their healthcare.
It's people like you and me who are tired of paying too much for healthcare and getting too little.
People who are standing up for their values and letting their conscience make decisions based on timeless principles.
It's a movement that's sweeping the nation, and you need to be a part of it.
Liberty Health Share is leading the movement of people who are looking for an alternative to traditional health insurance.
Liberty Health Share is a healthcare sharing organization of people who are sharing the cost of healthcare in an easy and efficient way.
Choose your own doctor, your own hospital, and live out your values in healthcare.
Join the movement. Together, we're changing healthcare for good.
Go to www.joinlhs.com or call 800-722-8041. That's 800-722-8041.
And we're back here on the Vito and Vito Show. Check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com. Give us a follow at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Vito and Vito Show. Talking about the GOP debate right before the Iowa caucus. Is it caucus? Caucus? I'm from Brooklyn, so I'm going to say caucus. Caucus. The caucus in the car.
That's Boston, the car. Caucus.
I don't like Boston accents. I don't like Boston people.
Hey.
Alienate
We have a
that
big
audience. I
following,
don't want
but
them.
I think we've alienated everybody.
Good. If you've come here for political
Alienated
correctness, we encourage you to turn off this station and go over to MSNBC. Hear what Rachel Maddow has to say as she talks about how everyone is equal.
Is she a lesbian?
Are you kidding me?
I just want to be clear.
I don't want to be clear. Why, do you like her?
No, I just want to know.
You're into manly women?
Manly man.
Is that what you're into? You're into like
She's
a...
scary.
No,
Who's
she
the other one on MSNBC?
Who's Oh.
You can beep these things out, right?
You're gonna have to.
Well, I can't call Rachel Maddow a
Unbelievable. Let's move on. Anyway, here we go. Stop.
Can we get fined for that by the FEC?
Go pledge yourself to Rachel Maddow after the show. All right, how about you do that to yourself? There you
Whatever.
go. All right. Let's go ahead and keep talking about this debate right now.
All right.
Megyn Kelly, before we get to, I know you got some polls over there we put out on the Twitter.
The Twitters, we ask people questions and they respond.
But I just want to throw this question out there, Vito. Do you think Donald Trump not going to the debate is a legitimate reason that he gave? Remember, the reason he gave, of course, is Megyn Kelly's unfair. She's a bimbo. She's
no.
a loser. You know how Donald Trump is. So, do you think that's a fair assertion, or let alone a fair, reason not to come?
No. But it does work for him.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it will help him in Iowa. But, no, I don't like that reason. You can deal with... listen, MSNBC, there's liberals, there's the people on the left, going to be much worse. Right? It was CNBC's debate a couple months ago that was just brutally awful. Mm-hmm. You tell me that... they called his campaign a comic book campaign. You should be getting upset at those things and threatening not to show up to their debates, not Fox and Megyn Kelly.
I think Megyn Kelly was unfair. I think she was unfair. I think she was bad in the first debate. I think she was terrible. I thought she was an unfair, biased reporter that just wanted to knock basically the entire Republican field, but more importantly, Donald Trump. She sort of had it in for Trump, and I understand the Trump frustration. But at the same time, you can't just walk away from these debates like this. I mean, you're expected to show up, and you're expected to answer questions from MSNBC. You're supposed to answer questions from George Stephanopoulos when you get to ABC for the more presidential debates, the general election debates. You're going to have more serious time there. You can't just sit around and pretend that you don't like somebody, so you're not going to talk about them. So, not show up to their debate. That's not fair.
I think it was childish.
Nah, I don't think it was right, but he should have showed up. At the same time, him not showing up works in his favor. So what the hell do I know? Donald Trump, I think his move tonight was absolutely brilliant in terms of a political maneuver. Right. Vito, what do you got? Some polls there, like you said on the Twitter?
I feel like Frank Luntz over here. We asked the people at home.
We asked the people at home, strapped to a bed, under coercion.
We said, on your Thursday night, since you have nothing else to do besides listen to Vito and Vito, which did you watch? The GOP debate or the Trump rally for the veterans? Both? Did you flip the channels, or did you watch neither? Ready? 48%, they're still voting, but 48% so far watched Trump. 36% watched the GOP debate, 12% said neither, and 4% said I flipped the channels and watched both. Vito, what did you watch?
I was watching both. I mean, I was interested in Trump.
While you weren't sleeping.
Trump kept me awake, and then I switched over to debate, dozed off a little bit, but flipping back and forth indeed, because you want to see what the candidates are saying, but also you don't want to miss what Trump is saying. Again, like if Ted Cruz were to hold a separate event like this, if Rand Paul were to hold a separate event like this, if any other candidate were to hold a separate veterans event on the same day, on the same time,
it wouldn't work.
It wouldn't work. If Mitt Romney or John McCain, if they were leading in the polls back in 2008 and 2012, and they decided not to go to one of these debates and host like the same thing like Donald Trump, it wouldn't work out. It wouldn't work out. If a Mitt Romney or John McCain, Bob Dole, one of those guys tried to pull the same thing, George W. Bush, George H.W. Bush, if they tried to pull the same thing Donald Trump tried to pull, they would lose. They would have shot themselves in the foot. Damn it, Ronald Reagan didn't even go in 1980 to the Iowa debate right before the Iowa caucus. He had a pretty good lead, and he lost Iowa. Granted, he went on and he lost New Hampshire, of course, and Puerto Rico, but he went on to win in a landslide. But the point being, even Reagan couldn't pull off this feat. Trump might be able to do that. Trump not showing up might actually help him in his favor.
Don't forget, he's also a celebrity.
And, of course, that's a whole other dynamic as well. But I think he has some legitimate points in his arguments, and he's certainly someone to be looked at.
The next question. Hundreds of people voting in these polls. Who is best suited to defeat the Democratic nominee, whoever it would be? That's close between Trump right now and Rubio.
Really?
And then Ted Cruz coming in last.
You see what I mean? After
the polls aren't done yet. You know?
After this performance. But, of course, it's a non-scientific poll. This is somebody on Twitter. You know, you follow us. Go ahead and vote it. So I can't give you any scientific thing. But we'll find out.
Is it all really science?
We will find out at the caucuses and then the primary states. We're going to find out what the story is. But interesting.
But you can vote in these fun polls and tweet us your answers if you think maybe your mother should be a better presidential nominee than these guys. You can tweet us at Vito and Vito Show. We respond to you because we're real people controlling our own Twitter accounts.
Yeah, maybe one of us is real. I don't like to respond to my own Twitter.
We said who won the debate. The choices were Ted Cruz, Rubio, Christie, and other. Now, this was not including Donald Trump because he wasn't there. Without Trump included, other won the debates with 39%.
Really?
31 with Cruz, Rubio 23, and Christie 7.
You see, there it is again.
So even when you don't put Trump into the mix, they still vote for other. I want to assume they're not talking about Jeb or Kasich. I think they're talking about Jeb, Donald Trump. But when you do say who won it, Cruz, Trump, Rubio, or other. Those are the top 3 polling candidates right now. Trump takes it with 39, other 26%, Rubio 21, and Cruz at 14.
You said who won the GOP debate? That was the question you asked.
Yes.
And Donald Trump came in at 39%.
Donald Trump won the GOP debate according to our polls.
He wasn't there. Silence, ladies and gentlemen, is deafening. Donald Trump not even at the debate. And he's able to walk away with a powerhouse of numbers. It's astonishing. It really is. It really is astonishing. This is going to help Donald Trump, and it probably is going to hurt Ted Cruz. I hope I'm wrong. I honestly hope that I'm wrong, but it is something to take into account. I don't know, Vito. What do you think in terms of the performance factors of other? Because I don't want to just keep talking about Trump. I want to talk about the performances here in the debate. What do you think?
So let's get right into that. Because there were 7 other candidates, 7 men. You want to grade them? You want to talk about each one? You want to talk about see how they all did without Trump?
No, I think we should save off on the grades. I want to save off on the grades just for a second. I want to talk about individual candidates and just, the star-studded events. I want to talk about individual candidates and their star-studded events in these specific debate moments. I want to talk about how when you notice the audience at these debates, something's not right. For the most part, the audience at these debates always cheer for Marco Rubio, Jeb Bush. They love these guys. Why? Why the hell do these people get such a rounding slew of applause? Is the Republican Party really this anti-NSA party? No. Polls indicate otherwise. This Republican Party is not as hawkish as people think. Yet at the same time, hawkish people that go around and say, we need to keep the NSA, we got to spy on people's phone records, etc., 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 they always get the biggest round of applause. So I got to say, there's probably something to do with the people, that how they give tickets at the RNC is, it's a baffling story. They give them away to different campaigns, yeah.
What do you think?
So your average grassroots guy is not going to be going to the Republican debate. You got to be well connected to go to this crap. The rest of us lay people will sit on TV and watch it. But when you take a look at this stuff, it's very interesting to see. It's got to be understood, ladies and gentlemen, that these people are in there. They're establishment fools. They were there with the Ronald Reagan at the Ronald Reagan Ranch. Remember the second debate, the GOP debate, with the Reagan plane in the background and all that stuff, where they went crazy, not for Donald Trump, not for Ted Cruz, not even for Rand Paul, but they went crazy for Marco Rubio. And it's pretty much been the same ever since. Rubio is always getting a standing round of applause. When they hold these debates in big arenas, it's a different story, but when they hold them in small, intimate places like what we have seen, you notice that establishment people always get big rounds of applause. I'm telling you now, ladies and gentlemen, Marco Rubio's attacks on Ted Cruz and Rand Paul, in particular the National Defense Authorization Act, the fact that he thinks Rubio's saying that Ted Cruz wants to cut defense spending. Of course, it's a monstrous lie. Another monstrous lie by the Rubio campaign is when they say that Ted Cruz and Rand Paul want to threaten national security by cutting the NSA. Another lie from Rand Paul is this notion of the Order the Fed bill, saying that Ted Cruz is not going to take Liberty voters away from from Rand Paul, excuse me. Ted Cruz has a legitimate shot at picking up libertarians. He does. As a self-described libertarian, I would say that Ted Cruz has a legitimate shot at picking up a slew of libertarian voters because not only is he a plausible option, but at the same time, he's a pretty much committed and principled individual running for the presidency. It's got to be understood, ladies and gentlemen, that when you look at the general actions of a lot of these candidates on the stage, but the point that I'm trying to get at is this. Your conservative/libertarian message is not going too far well in a establishment-heavy audience at the GOP's debates. They're not going to fare well. And as a result, you're going to see a skewed picture, a skewed result of the crowd, of these results, etc. It ultimately comes down to the caucus states, and I hate it that Marco Rubio and Jeb Bush and John Kasich are being heralded as heroes. But all this leading up to an interview with our contributor Mona Salama. It's about a quick little snippet that we recorded right after the debate. I want you to hear what she has to say. But it's insightful. It is interesting. It is the most probably educational piece you're going to get when it comes down to just the audience makeup of these debates, who sits in these audience, who sits in those seats, contrasted you have rallies across town that Mona was able to go to, and different spots all over the state in Iowa where different conservative powerhouse candidates like Ted Cruz would show up and Rand Paul, and you see the difference in terms of the Marco Rubio crowds, and what seems like the audience going crazy for Marco Rubio, and you thinking that this guy's going to pull through. Well, it's not necessarily the case. But here you go. It is an interview with Mona Salama, contributor to the Vito and Vito Show and writer for the Politichicks. So I'm going to shut up and play the interview right now. Vito and Vito here with Mona Salama, one of the Vito and Vito Show contributors. She writes for the Politichicks. She's a superstar. What's up, Mona? Welcome to the program.
Hi, guys. What's going on?
What's up? Now, you are out there right now in Iowa for the debate. You got to tell us exactly the reactions of the people with Ted Cruz, without Donald Trump. What is the general atmosphere? You've been to a couple of these debates. Tell us the difference between the general climate with Trump and without Trump.
Well, basically, I can talk to you guys from a perspective of the night before. It'll give your viewers and everybody understanding, because really, for me, it's really hard to see people's expressions and understand reporters. A lot of reporters have some biased reviews, or a lot of them just keep it straight to the point and he says, she says stuff. Okay, pretty much I saw from last night when I went to Rubio's event and I went to Cruz's event, the biggest pro-rights rally, to the point that Cruz people always treat media like superstars. They couldn't even do that because the room was so jam-packed that they had to set up another side of the event, the place where it was housed. They had to set a projector for the overcrowd for people to watch the thing live. That's how big it was. And Ted Cruz came out with the biggest guns of conservative movement ever. He came out with Bob Vander Plaat. He came out with Steve King. He came out with Rick Perry, Louis Gohmert. He came out with the recent endorsement of Tony Perkins. Guns blazing with conservatives from left to right. It was like, bang, 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 conservative, bang, bang, bang. And the crowd was on their feet. And they loved every single second of what Cruz and everybody else who was there for Cruz said. And it was amazing. It was an amazing event for Cruz, and I think Cruz will definitely take Iowa.
Really? So and now, because Vito and we're arguing about this right now on the program, we keep saying that Ted Cruz, I think, didn't do so well at this debate as opposed to previous debates, only because Donald Trump wasn't even there. And you're telling me that the people of Iowa love Ted? I mean, he was being booed. We heard it on television. You saw the people were booing him early on in the debate. Do you think Ted Cruz that he's going to win Iowa? That's what you're getting out of this?
Well, think about it. The people in the debate are people who get tickets. A lot of people are flown in. A lot of people have people that for the campaigns that give them tickets. When Rand Paul walked into the stage, he got the most applause. So that already tells you that the whole crowd there was for Rand Paul. But it doesn't matter the debate. Think about it. When Ted Cruz is going to be in Iowa nonstop, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, into the caucus, he's going to rile it up, and he's going to make sure people are going to out there be in Iowa caucus for 1 hour. It's really an hour and a half debate. Hour and a half caucus event. And he's going to make sure everybody's going to come out and bring their friends and caucus for Ted and make sure his votes are going to come out.
I'm telling you, it's something, but so it looks like Ted Cruz doing much better than we expected. What about somebody else? I don't know, because I think Marco Rubio, I don't like him at all, but I think that Marco Rubio, performance-wise, he's a great debater. I think he did really good in this debate.
Right, yeah.
I think that he's going to give Trump and Cruz a run for the nomination for that establishment vote.
Yes, but basically when I say Ted Cruz is going to win Iowa, I think he's going to win the most out of Iowa, but I think it's going to be split between Ted Cruz, Donald Trump, and Marco Rubio to get Iowa caucus delegates. And then we come to New Hampshire, and it's going to be even way more splitter when you're going to have Donald Trump, you're going to have Kasich now, you're going to have Chris Christie, you're going to have Rubio. So it's going to be split. I say that nobody's going to know who. The conservative movement is going to come out swinging and win the caucus in Iowa. They're going to split it up, and that's going to be all the three, 2 out of 3 considered that are conservative. Come New Hampshire, you're going to see a split of conservatives, and you're going to see a split of moderates taking out, getting delegates out of that. from South Carolina. It depends what happens in Iowa and New Hampshire. But by Super Tuesday, when the field starts getting smaller and these candidates that have no shot of winning starts to drop out, then we'll start seeing what can happen Super Tuesday. But I'm letting you know right now, I went to Rand Paul's rally event. A lot of students came out for him, and Drake University, a lot of them promised they're going to help our caucus. I wouldn't rule out Rand Paul. I think he might come fourth or fifth in Iowa, and hopefully, and he's bringing his daddy out, guns are blazing with his dad coming out to help him and for the Iowa caucus.
Fighting the Common Core standards? Need a powerful tool to help inform others on this harmful education initiative? You're covered with Common Ground on Common Core, the collection of essays by 20 top education experts and activists. Reviewers call it the best single resource on the topic. You can share it with literally anyone. Order your print or digital copy of Common Ground on Common Core today. Just visit resoundingbooks.org. That's resoundingbooks.org. And get $2 off when you tell them Vito and Vito sent you. Paid for by Resounding Books Pack.
So what is behind enemy lines anyway?
This is the true story of two friends living in the People's Republic of New York City who work together and have their conversations taped to find out what happens when conservatives stop being politically correct and start getting real. We are Behind Enemy Lines. Watch your wallets. Thursdays at 1 on WNJC, part of the Conservative Commandos Radio Network.
Check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com. Give us a follow on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Vito and Vito Show. And Vito, it's time to break down these debate performances. Give these people some grades. Been doing this since the first debate. And I want you to know what we think of what these candidates had to say. Let's start off with the number one guy, Donald Trump. What do you give him? He wasn't there, but his presence was certainly felt. What do you give Donald Trump for not showing up at the debate? Good move, bad news?
I can't grade him. He wasn't there.
You wouldn't even grade him?
No.
I'm saying that Donald Trump deserves an A tonight. An A for not showing up, and an A for saying to Fox News, the media, to the whole process, this whole political process, big F you. Donald Trump gets an A for not showing up. I think he wins. I think the fact is, the fact that we're talking about this for the whole show. Everyone wants to see Trump. Trump wasn't there. It's a lackluster debate. Trump is the guy everyone wants to see. He has changed the political cycle. He gets an A in my book for not even showing up. Isn't that something? I think it's the highest grade I've ever given Trump. And I'm critical of him. There are points that I love about Trump, points that I don't like about Trump.
Maybe we'll go back and check that on the website.
You know, but for the most part, I've endorsed Ted Cruz for president. I love Ted Cruz. He is my pick for 2016, but I'm just going to call it like I see it. Donald Trump not being there, that's the story of the night.
John Kasich.
F. I don't like him. And I didn't like a damn thing he said. I hate it when he keeps talking about people coming together and stuff like that. I hate it when John Kasich is on that stage. He's another establishment hack, and he's only pulling in for New Hampshire. He's going to try to raise some money and try to grab some momentum as much as he can in New Hampshire. But I cannot stand John Kasich. I think he is a rhino. I think everybody that's listening can understand that he's a rhino. I do not like him. He gets enough.
I'll give him a D-.
Yeah, much more generous than I am.
Yeah,
here.
Feeling good tonight.
Yeah.
But barely. Rand Paul.
You know, Rand is something. I have to give Rand, and this is because I like Rand. He's my second pick. I got to give Rand Paul a B+. I think Rand Paul did just wonderful. Not the greatest, but I think he did. I got to give him a B+ because he's attacking Ted for misnomers and crap like that. I think his argument. I love how he brings up Art of the Fed. I love how he's the guy that defends criminal justice reform, and I like it how he defends the NSA. The filibuster on the NSA. Rand Paul gets a B+ in my book. I just hope he picks up momentum, and who knows? Maybe Trump and Rand. That would be a whew. Not Trump. Excuse me. Not Trump and Rand. Cruz and Rand.
No.
Cruz and Paul. Cruz Paul 2016. That's my dream ticket.
I don't see it happen, but I give him a B+ as well. Jeb Bush. I'll give him a B+. He did not do that bad. He came out.
Well, he tried selling his book for, what, $3 on Amazon?
$2.99. So if he gets anything out of this, he get good advertising for his
book.
book.
There you go.
I think he was better than usual. I think not having Trump on the stage helped him.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have to get attacked by Trump. But I think he did pretty well. He was his best yet. I still don't think it's going to affect his poll numbers, but so far so good for him.
Yeah, I got to give Jeb Bush maybe a B. I think he did okay. I don't think he was amazing, but at the same time, he held his own. I think him and Marco Rubio fighting each other on who's the biggest rhino on immigration was pretty good. I like that. I like seeing these two battle it out. It was pretty cool. But I'd have to give him a B. I thought that, aside from that, what else did Jeb Bush really say that was memorable? What else really inspired the base? It wasn't that great.
I think it's pretty good. I think it helped out Cruz.
I think it shows I think it shows conservatives not to vote. If immigration is going to be a big thing this year, I think it shows you. And people are critical, and some, voters are critical of Ted Cruz and where he stands on immigration. I mean, Marco Rubio and Jeb Bush and all those other rhinos in immigration don't have a damn shot. They don't have a shot. They don't. The McCain lights don't have a shot this year, I'm telling you. What else you got?
Chris Christie.
I give Krispy Kreme, maybe a C. B minus or something like that. I am not. I mean, when I look at Chris Christie, I'm just not blown away by him, and I get more annoyed when I see him speaking because his tough guy attitude, in particular on the NSA, and how he thinks the NSA is the worst thing ever. The NSA is the best thing ever, excuse me, and that the Patriot Act is the greatest invention to slice bread, and that, Rand Paul fighting for liberty and Ted Cruz alongside him are somehow, some way bad guys. It just, it blows my mind. I don't really get it. I don't know. I don't like Chris Christie. Plus, he donated to Planned Parenthood.
And when he sits there and talks to the plumber at home, the guy sitting at home watching TV right now.
He sounds like Peter King. Peter King out in Long Island, the rhino Republican in Long Island, Peter King. I can't stand him. He has the same rhetoric as Chris Christie. They go hand in hand, and they're two schmucks in a pot. I give.
And Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton's bad. Hillary Clinton can't be president. I'm not watching the GOP debate to find out Hillary Clinton is not a good presidential pick.
That's why I'm watching the debate in the first place. An interesting character. He should drop out. He should be the next one to go. I don't like him, but he's going to stick because that's just my personal choice. But he'll stick. He'll stick in because of New Hampshire.
Yeah, I don't think he's polling that bad over there. But Dr. Ben Carson.
Again, what the hell did he do tonight? I mean, I don't. This is what I mean. I can't think of any memorable moments. Trump's able to captivate you. I got to give him Ben Carson maybe a B minus. Again, he brings up the notion of political correctness, and I like that. I do. I like that he talks about political correctness is going to kill us, and it's been proven that it has. San Bernardino, perfect example. Paris, another example. The shootings by the ISIS killers. So, yeah, I get that. But at the same time, what else did Ben Carson say that could really, get you? That shook you by the horns? I don't know. I got to give him,
B minus.
Yeah.
See, I mean, he's consistently the same. Consistently monotone, answers a few questions pretty well. It doesn't stand out. I don't know. That's how Ben is.
I don't know about Ben Carson. I don't know. I think he's another one that needs to go or play vice president.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of the problems of not running for office and not being a politician beforehand. I mean, unless you're Donald Trump, you just can't really do it. Herman Cain, I think, was the same way. I think Herman Cain, who never ran for office before, I thought he was, a little boring after a while. He kept saying 999, and you lose that lackluster initial praise. Then, Ben Carson saying he was the doctor was pretty cool, but that was about it.
Marco Rubio.
Boy. Here's the thing about Marco Rubio. When you look at somebody like Rubio, you got to say to yourself, what does he bring to the table? He's a rhino, first and foremost. He supports the National Defense Authorization Act, which gives the president the authority to kill Americans that are suspected terrorists on American soil and elsewhere in the world. Number two, Marco Rubio thinks that you need to spend $1 gazillion on defense, which needs to be understood that's not the case. So he's trying to appeal to the hawkish side of everything. Number three, Marco Rubio, he literally wrote the Gang of Eight immigration bill, and now he wants to say that he's conservative on these issues, and now he's trying to finagle conservatives into saying that the Gang of Eight wasn't really amnesty, that it is amnesty. You saw the debate and the fight with Jeb Bush and Marco Rubio. So at the end of the day,
I gotta say, as much as I don't like him, he's a great debater, and I have to give Marco Rubio a B+ in terms of performance. He knew what to say. He held himself together. He gets a B+ in my book.
A B+ you give him?
Yeah.
I'll give him an A.
Really?
I think he won the debate. I think he stood out for debate performance-wise. The only thing, he came out firing. I think in the beginning when Ted Cruz stumbled a little bit, Rubio was there to pick up the pieces and ran with the ball. I think you saw that. He brought the energy and the enthusiasm like he always does. The only thing is, he keeps trying to hit on Cruz. He did this with the defense spending bill. He voted with Rand Paul's budget proposal, how he cut defense spending, how they will cut it, and cutting that means that we won't have a defense and we'll die. That's what cutting defense means to
A lot
Marco
of
Rubio.
fear-mongering.
A
lot of fear-mongering, and it's not the first time he's done this, by the way.
No, but if you look into this, we tweeted this also. Rand Paul's budget proposal that Ted Cruz voted for, what it does is it increases spending, but it doesn't do it to the same projections that the rest of the Republicans wanted. So it looks like it's lower than usual, but it's still an increase over the next decade. So he's just kind of tweaking with the stats and making Cruz and Rand look bad. That's what Rubio is doing. I don't appreciate that.
He's a dirty politician. I don't like him.
Yeah, but it's how he comes off in the debates, and nobody's going to be fact-checking like we do during these debates. So that's how he comes off, and that's why he did well. It's all performance. Ted Cruz.
All right, this is it. I got to give Ted a B+. I mean, he carried his own. First of all, he had some crap jokes in the beginning. He was going after the media. Remember that in the very beginning of the debate? He said, the last couple of questions have been Rand attacked this one, and he said he seemed like it was a righteous moment for Ted. And it was like, it's like you know what it was? It was the Newt Gingrich, let's attack the media card. And, you get that big round of applause the first time you did that back in 2012. And now he tried doing it again, Newt Gingrich, later on in a couple of debates, and it didn't do so well. Well, the same thing sort of happened here with Ted Cruz. He attacked the media. It didn't work out so well, but I think he rebounded pretty well when he said, if we keep that up, I'm going to have to walk away from the stage. And, sort of poking at Donald Trump. So
yeah, it's a kind of flat joke.
It was a flat joke, but at the same time,
kind of rebounded.
I appreciate that Ted isn't stupid. Because I knew right away he sensed the crowd didn't like it, and he right away said, well, how the hell can I somehow get out of this? And I like how he threw it on Donald Trump. He basically threw it on Donald. But then he says what he says about monetary policy. I love how he said he wants to carpet bomb ISIS and stuff like that. And then he breaks down the president's statistics and how they're using airstrikes versus how President Cruz would use airstrikes.
Yeah, and the size of military and stuff. Yeah.
Don't forget healthcare spending as well. I love his things on how he wants to sell across state lines, how he wants to increase health savings accounts and stuff like that. So Ted Cruz in my book gets a B+. I still think he struggled though because he wasn't the focal point of the debate. He messed around with the moderators, and I think that ultimately hurt him. But who knows, man? I hope I'm wrong about all of this. I'm just telling you what I see, and I pray to God Ted Cruz walks away the winner in Iowa, and hopefully in all the other states and becomes president one day. But yeah, it is Ted Cruz who I say gets a B+ tonight. I don't think he was one of his stronger points. Vito?
I'll give him a B+ as well. It wasn't his strongest, it wasn't his best outing, but I think he did pretty solid. I think he did better as the night went on. And maybe we'll see what happens in Iowa on Monday. 92 hours or so, he gave us the time to count down.
He's got a clock somewhere in his RV and his office.
Probably.
Yeah, the Iowa caucus. Vito, who do you think is going to win Iowa? Come on, we're wrapping up the show right now. Who do you think is going to win Iowa? Yeah, we'll make a bet.
All right. I'm going to bet you $1 million.
All right, how about this? The loser has to wear a Bernie Sanders t-shirt, take a picture, and has to put it on the show's Twitter account. What do you say? Okay?
Jesus Christ.
What do you say? First of all, where do we get a Bernie? I don't have a Bernie Sanders t-shirt.
I'm sure we'll go down to Williamsburg with the hipsters and steal one or something.
Okay. So, that's it. We'll do that.
I'll trade one in for a bag of weed. There we go.
There you go.
Peace.
What do you say?
Deal.
We're good with that?
Yeah.
All right. So, the loser of this bet has to wear a Bernie Sanders t-shirt, take a picture, and put it on social media accounts for the world to laugh at you. All right, who do you think is going to win the Iowa caucus on Monday?
Oh, boy. Donald Trump.
Donald Trump? I say Ted Cruz. I think Ted Cruz is going to win. You think Donald Trump's going to win. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going ahead right now. Wrapping up the Vito and Vito Show. Check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com. Give us a follow on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Vito and Vito Show. We'll be back next week for more political fun and a recap of the Iowa caucus right here on the Vito and Vito Show.